There's a silent epidemic destroying millions of devoted people from the inside out, and nobody's talking about it. They wake up every morning, put on their mask, and convince the world they're fine. But behind closed doors, they're falling apart. They're exhausted from performing, drowning in shame, and the very thing that should be healing them is making them sicker. Let me tell you what's really happening when someone says, "I've been pretending to be okay for years." They're not just tired, they're spiritually hemorrhaging. Every Sunday, every prayer meeting, every religious gathering becomes another performance, another chance to fail, another layer of shame. They smile and say the right things, but inside they're screaming, "Why can't I feel what everyone else seems to feel? Why am I so broken?" Here's what nobody understands. These aren't weak people. They're actually the strongest ones in the room. Think about it. They're carrying unbearable emotional weight while maintaining a perfect facade. They're fighting a war inside their own souls while helping everyone else with theirs. That takes incredible strength, destructive strength. But here's where it gets dark. The pretending becomes an addiction. Because admitting you're not okay in a religious community, that's basically admitting you don't have enough faith, that you're failing God. So the mask gets thicker, the performance gets more elaborate, the real self gets buried deeper. Now watch this pattern. It happens in 3 stages. First, they feel unworthy but think it's temporary. Just pray harder, serve more, read more scripture. Second, when that doesn't work, they internalize the failure. Obviously they're the problem. Everyone else seems fine. Third, they accept this as their permanent state. Pretending becomes their identity. But here's the investigation that changes everything. I studied thousands of believers across Christianity. Catholics drowning in guilt, evangelicals exhausted from trying to earn God's love, Pentecostals performing emotional highs they don't feel, Orthodox believers mechanically going through rituals that feel empty. And then I looked broader. Muslims struggling with the same perfectionism, Jews carrying generational shame, Buddhists pretending they've transcended emotions they're actually suppressing, even secular ideologies, the wellness community pretending they're enlightened. Social justice spaces where admitting you're struggling means you're not committed enough. The pattern is identical everywhere. The institution demands performance, the individual can't sustain it. But admitting failure means rejection from the community. So they pretend and pretend and pretend until they either break completely or spend their entire life as an actor in their own existence. But here's the aha moment that breaks the whole system open. What if the exhaustion isn't from lack of faith? What if it's from the performance itself? What if the very effort to earn divine love is what's blocking you from receiving it? Listen carefully, because this is the crack in the matrix. Every religious and ideological system has this backwards. They teach that acceptance comes after achievement, that love is a reward for good behavior, that worthiness must be earned. But what if, stay with me, what if the love is already there? What if it's been there the whole time? What if the only thing standing between you and feeling it is the exhausting performance you think earns it? Here's what I discovered. The people who finally stop pretending don't get there by trying harder. They get there by surrendering. Look at Christianity specifically. Romans 5:8 says, "While we were still sinners, Christ died for us." While, not after, not when we got our act together. The love preceded the performance, but somehow that got flipped into perform well enough and maybe you'll deserve what was already given freely. When people finally understand they're already loved, already accepted, already enough, the pretending stops. The mask comes off. The exhaustion lifts.